One of the most controversial politicians that Kenya ever had was one Sharif Nasir bin TAIB. The current Mombasa governor, Abdul Nasir Sharif Nasir, is one of his children. Sharif Nasir, my law teacher when I was undertaking my cadet course as an inspector of police was Mr. Nyaseda, before Nyaseda rose up to be the police boss. Mr. Nyaseda used to refer to him as WWW. Those were before the internet days. Mr. Nyaseda used to refer to him WWW, meaning Watu Wapende, Watu Wapende, Wasipende. We will look at his history. He is somebody who rose from being a clerk. He was a clerk at the then East African Railways and Harbour. So with the breakdown of East African community, Kenya produced two different groups. Kenya produced Kenya Ports Authority and Kenya produced Kenya Railways. So you find Kenya Railways and Kenya Ports Authority, KPA, plus Tanzania the same, and Uganda. Of course, Uganda did not have port. They used to have East African Railway and Harbour Corporation. The East Africa broke down because of the politics then. Tanzania started harboring another railway with Zambia, which was called Tanzam Railway. And Uganda, the dictatorship would not agree with so that is how East African community broke down. This fellow was so powerful, and it took President Moi a long time to appoint him as a minister because of his law education. Those who were there, because majority from comments I'm finding that the millenniums, the people who are in their 20s, are the ones who are really enjoying these steps because they are learning what was happening before they were born. Those who can remember will remember that Moi preferred surrounding himself with illiterate people from around the country. There is Mulu Mutisia for you, and you can even scroll down and you'll find I've already recorded Mulu Mutisia. There was Karaoke Chotara. I've also recorded something about Karaoke Chotara. There was Barngetuny. There is Sharif Nasir. These were age mates of Moi, and mostly they had little or no education. So Sharif Nasir was there representing the coast. When Ronald Ngala died in 1972, and I'm going to record Ronald Ngala very soon. When Ronald Ngala died in 1972, he was the chairman of Kanu in Mombasa. And when the elections were held to replace Ronald Ngala, the person who took over was Sharif Nasir bin TAIB. In the elections of 1974, he was beaten by Mohammed Jahazi. Even before the 90s, he used to try his luck with the electorate there, but he could not make it because Mohammed Jahazi was popular. So he could not make it. And then that was 1974. 1978, he also failed. But in 1979, no, I'm correcting myself, 1978, there was no election. In 1979, Moi was planting people and removing people who were perceived to be pro-Moi, pro-Kenyatta. So in cost, that is when he went for Sharif Nasir bin TAIB. That was 1979. So in 1974, he was beaten by Mohamed Jahazi, and then he became the MP in 1979. What he is known, there was a time, and I've recorded about Mlolongo. Mlolongo. If you scroll down, you'll find what I've written about Mlolongo. I will not go back. But Mlolongo was started with a good intention. Because even today, it is possible to have 25 names on a ballot. So Moi wanted people to have, at most, people are supposed to have 3 candidates. So Moi came up with an idea that why don't we have a situation where if you have less than 30%, of the Kanu nomination, then you do not appear in the ilikuwa inaitwa mchujo on the ballot paper. But anybody with between 30 and 69, your name would appear. But if you had over 70%, if you individually, one person had over 70%, then it means that the number 2 had 29 or less. So that meant that if you had over 70%, you'd go unopposed. But then there is also a possibility that you can get less than 70%, but you go unopposed. Suppose you get 50%, and there are 10 other candidates who have contested. None of them has reached 30%, so you'll automatically say that. It reached a time when Moi said that he is going to suggest that the 70% rule be removed and anybody can contest. Sharif Nasir went public and said, if the president is going to suggest that we remove the 70% rule, I am going to oppose that one. I can tell you, for those who are young, I'll say I was in NIS. You know, it used to be called special branch. So let me use the word NIS for young ones to understand. Even we in NIS were worried. You mean you are going to oppose the president? There is the tape I've talked about Saitoti. And somebody wrote in the comment, you know, some of these things, wazee wanakumbuka. They are happy that I'm reminding them things that they had forgotten. In the tape of Saitoti, I had somebody wrote in a comment that those were the days when you dreamt that you are opposing Moi, just dreaming. You wake up in the morning and discover that you had dreamt that you had opposed Moi. The following day, you'd be in the special branch office apologizing and writing a written apology. So you can see, if you can dream, and then unajipeleka mwenyewe kwenda kuandika statement and apologize. What of this Sharif Nasir, who said that if Moi came up with the idea of doing away with the survey, I'll oppose him. There was chorus. Those days, unajua ukiongea slightly suspicious things, demonstration maandamano would go around. Let him be expelled, or let her be expelled from Kanu. Let him be expelled from Kanu. Such demonstration started that Sharif Nasir should be removed from Kanu, but he stayed adamant. After careful deliberation within us in the NIS, we sat and tried and whatever, we came to discover that, you know, any leader, like Moi in this case, had used Sharif Nasir as a testing ground. He wanted to see what the country felt about 70%. And sincerely, were it not for the fact that provincial administration were now trying to converting shorter lines into long lines, if Mlolongo would have been the way it was supposed to be, then I'm very sure nobody would have wanted even Kanu to get out, and nobody would have wanted Mlolongo to be, second liberation started because of Mlolongo. It is the provincial administration that spoiled Mlolongo. Sharif Nasir is also known for having said that Kanu will rule for 100 years. And looking at it, if you look at the current president, William Samoei Ruto, has surrounded himself with young thugs, kina KJ, kina Ndindi Nyoro, Osoro, Baraza. We could say, with a level of certainty, it is possible that the new team that Ruto is grooming to take over from him have never been members of Kanu. Or if there is, maybe one or two, but most of them are completely new post-Kanu politicians. But let us look at Sharif Nasir, the illiterate fellow who predicted that Kanu would rule for 100 years. Depending on your interpretation, Kanu took over on 1st June 1963. Others would say Kanu took over December 12, 1963. This recording has been done around Jamhuri Day 2023. What am I saying? I'm saying that I'm recording this thing when Kenya has been independent for 60 years. That is 60% of his prediction. And who are the people ruling Kenya? The president, William Samoei Arap Ruto. He was in YKE 92, Kanu. Who else? There is Raila. At one time, he was the Secretary General for Kanu. Kalonzo Musyoka. He was the organizing secretary for Kanu. Name it. Everybody who is now in power, whether he's Musalia Mudavadi, he was in Kanu. He was a vice chairman of Kanu. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, he was in Kanu. So, I'm not very sure about Rigiji. It is quite possible that Rigiji, but you see, Rigiji was Uhuru's personal assistant. And if Rigiji ever held a Kanu card, then maybe he held the Kanu card like me. Because it reached a time when everybody, we used to stand on the road with the Kanu cards. You force people to become members of Kanu. You ask for ID, person produces ID, then you ask, where's your Kanu card? The card used to have a place where you place a stamp kama ile ya barua. So if Rigiji, for any purpose, becomes, the president, then you can say he's a post-Kanu leader. But you can see all those people on both sides of the political divide are Kanu. The prediction has been 60% correct, because up to now. Now, if you look at the front runners of today's presidential election, Agwambo says he told members of ODM that if they register in large numbers, he'll be on ballot paper in 2027. Kalonzo Musyoka wants to be there on 2027. Madividi has not talked. Ruto must be there. So, would it be safe if I say that whoever will win 2027 still will be a Kanu man? And if whoever wins in 2027, it means in 2032, the earliest and none, taking everything into consideration being equal, it means that the earliest we can have a purely non-Kanu member is 2032. 2032 is 1 year short of 2033. And 2033, Sharif Nasir bin TAIB had said that Kanu would rule for 100 years. It would have ruled for 70 years. So for this illiterate person, he got 70% mark correct.